What is up guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing here a deck profile for my Alakazam V deck. This is a deck I believe would be my first time actually debuting on this particular channel, but who knows, I mean it's still definitely going to be very exciting to see I guess the differences if I have actually done it before, but I think this would be my first time. So I do hope you guys are actually enjoying this, of course, because if you do, definitely consider dropping a like, share, comment and subscribe, and also hit that bell notification. It really does help. But what's interesting about this particular deck is that it is a psychic deck. It is one of my favorite energy types alongside water and dark. So to actually build a psychic deck is something that, although it's hard because I don't really have too many Pokemon focusing around psychics, to be able to build any of these decks is just a great joy to actually perform. So with that being said, let's just get started. So first up we have here our Alakazam V. Now I only have one of the full arts. I wish I had more, of course, but even so I guess it's no big deal. I'll eventually get them slowly, but for the time being the other three are still very nice. What's amazing about this particular attack is that you have two attacks. So Zen Spoon allows you to just put 3 damage counters on any of your opponent's Pokemon, including their benched Pokemon. This gives you a huge advantage because your opponent's Pokemon essentially just can't escape. So if any of their Pokemon are on the verge of actually being knocked out, you have a Zen Spoon at the ready. And for 1 Psychic Energy, that's just so good. As for Mind Reader, or Mind Ruler that is, Mind Ruler is a much more improved attack, I guess. It deals 30 damage for each card in your opponent's hand, which is not necessarily great if you consider the fact that your opponent might not have anything, but even so, it does actually play a bit of a secondary goal to this particular way of the deck as well. So in this particular case, it's kind of like this backup strategy where you're forcing your opponents to play down all of their resources just so that you won't have a strong attack with the Mind Ruler. But the more cards your opponent actually has in their hand, the better your attack will be with the Mind Ruler. But I guess that's just depending on how you play it. Obviously it does carry certain risks or certain drawbacks depending on what kind of your deck you're going up against, but for the majority's sake, I think a lot of players out there do like to conserve their resources and they don't like to expend it. So to force them to with the Alakazam V is definitely fantastic. You're kind of in a win-win situation regardless. If your opponent has a lot of cards, you get a strong attack. If they don't have a lot of cards, well, it means they just have less resources to work around with. Now as for supporters, I'm playing here 1 Crobat V just for drawing. Cramorant V is a nice utility to add, and also the Eldegoss V is also just something that allows me to recycle my supporter. For a bit of supporting Pokemon, Jirachi is just really amazing. Having at least 2 copies of the Dreamy Revelation Jirachi is going to help out a lot when it comes to looping your deck. And of course 2 copies of the Galarian Zigzagoon also plays a huge deal in this, allowing you to knock out even more Pokemon out there. And when you're playing Scoop Up Nets, the Zigzagoons can just do so much out of this. But as you guys already have noticed, the actual Alakazam Vs are my only attacker in the actual deck itself. I don't play anything else, so it is kind of like a let's go all in, and if it fails, it fails. But I think there are definitely cards out there that allow us to also, I guess, balance things out, but we'll get to them later on. The final 2 Pokemon I'm playing in my deck is going to be the Mimikyu. Mimikyu is just really amazing. Heal Jammer is such a powerful ability. Your opponent's Pokemon in the bench can't be healed. It's just really amazing. It's so amazing. I mean, what can your opponent really do? Because if you're dealing so much big attack out of the Alakazam V and your opponent retreats, they can't even heal their Pokemon, and then you obviously have your Zen Spoon, which also just puts in 3 damage counters whenever they want. I mean, what's your opponent going to do from that? You know, having the 2 Mimikyu, it's kind of like an MVP in this deck, honestly. It really works well with the Alakazam. Now, of course, as for the items, we're going to be playing here 4 quick ball, 4 level ball. We have just plenty of cards that have less than 90 HP, so the level balls at 4 copies doesn't hurt whatsoever. The quick balls, we have plenty of basics in this deck as well. The majority of the cards anyway, or at least all of our Pokemon are basics, so playing 4 quick balls, there's nothing wrong with that. Alright, so a bit of shenanigery in the actual game itself. We play 4 copies of Scoop Up Net, mainly just to use it with the Zigzagoons, but the Switch, the Air Balloon, the Escape Rope all works incredibly well by manipulating what your opponent has on their board and what you have on your board, or at least in the active zone and bench. And of course, it also allows you to, I guess, control the game as well, doing your own things. Plus the loop with Jirachi is definitely really crucial, making these here all really important to play in the deck, and it doesn't seem overkill whatsoever. Just going to be playing here 3 copies of Fan of Waves, just a really nice card to delay the opponent even more. Turbo Patch is just really nice, allowing you to attach your energy much quicker. Of course, you don't have to attach much anyway. Your main attacker only needs 2 at the very max. Finally, for some supportive tools, or at least backup options I guess, we have here Cape of Toughness and the Big Charm, just to make sure our Pokemon are just enough so that your opponent can't knock them out in one go. We have our Ordinary Rod to recycle cards, and Tool Scrapper just to get rid of annoying tools. Now as for supporters, we're playing here 3 copies of Boss's Orders. You really want to just bring out the main Pokemon so that you can use your Mind Ruler attack. That is obviously the main heavy attack, and yes, although you have Zen Spoon which could hit any Pokemon, you're only dealing 3 damage at a time, so if you really want to knock out a specific Pokemon, then 3 Boss's Orders is something that will definitely help out. Of course, we also have 3 copies of Marnie. There's no need to extend to 4 copies, I think that's a bit much, but play enough to at least be able to give your opponent 4 copies or 4 cards in their hand, so that you would have a decent attack for your Mind Ruler. Of course, this should come to no surprise, we want this deck to be as fast as possible. 4 copies of Research, need I say more? And finally, we're playing here 8 copies of the basic Psychic Energy. You could play the Horror Psychic Energy as well, that is definitely an option. I just don't have 4 copies of them, unfortunately. I only have 1 copy, so if you had 4 copies of it, you could definitely do so and play it in. Just really works out, confuses your opponents a lot more. Just a really amazing card, but until I get it, I will just have to stick with these for the time being. So that was pretty much it for today's deck profile, so I do hope you guys enjoyed this one, because Psychic decks are definitely much more rare, just because it's really scarce for me to be able to even have main attacking Psychic type Pokemon out there. But with that being said, I am looking forward to Fusion Strike, because that is going to feature Mew in that particular set, and I'm also looking forward to getting the V-Union Mewtwo as well, so that would be very nice. I do want to focus a lot more onto Psychic decks, so with that being said, I'm definitely going to work a lot more into finding those particular cards or obtaining them to build a deck for. However, definitely leave me your thoughts as to what you thought about this particular deck, and you know, did you guys actually have a fun time even playing with this deck? You know, it's not about always winning, sometimes it's all about just the enjoyment of the game itself. So to that, I thank you guys for actually joining me today. I hope you all have a wonderful day. I'll see you all next time.